Well, howdy folks, welcome back to the shop, or should I say the outdoor here. I can't really get my truck in the garage. This truck actually is too big to fit in my garage. So this is my 2011 F250. So the problem we're having is the battery has been going dead by sitting for a couple weeks sitting in the driveway here. And you know, the battery has been replaced, so it's a brand new battery. The charging system's all been checked. Everything's been checked fine, so there's got to be a slight draw on the system. And whenever I put the code reader on it, the scanner, to check something else, because I have a TPMS failure too on one of the wheels, so whenever I had that scanner on here, I found that there is a body control module failure or an issue code. And what it is the ignition switch has a short or an open circuit. So I'm hoping it is on the short side in a way, because if it is, that might be contributing why the battery has been going dead by sitting here in the driveway. So I put the truck over on the side of the house here, mainly because it's supposed to be 90 some degrees today and it's relatively high humidity. So I'm trying to get a little bit of shade over here. And I excuse the background noise. Unfortunately, I do live on a major highway, so you're going to hear some of that, so I apologize for that. So why don't I bring you in a little closer here and I'll show you what the control module error is, and let's go dive into this and get it replaced. Okay, so I just wanted to show you here real quick. So here's the two codes that I'm getting right now, and this one here is B124D-02, and you can see it's the TPMS sensor, it's the tire pressure sensor. I know that that is an issue and I need to get that repaired, and I'll get to that a little bit later on. But here's the other code that comes up with the body control module, and it is the B10F1-14, and you can see key switch and circuit shorted to ground or open. So this is the code that we're trying to work on right now. From what I found, it's a fairly common problem with these Fords. So let's get in here and start taking everything apart. It's relatively easy to do from what I'm seeing. So we got to take this module off, or I'm sorry, not the module, but we got to take this part of the column off. Then there's 3 bolts down here we got to take off, then this all comes apart. So let's get in here and start taking this apart. All right, so I wanted to bring you over on this side here and show you one of the things that I have noticed is, you know, if the key's in the ignition, normally you have that dinging noise. Well, I don't have the dinging noise with the key in and the door open, but if you push on it, then it works. So that is a good sign that this ignition switch is bad. Now, if you turn the ignition on, you know, that it does work. It dings like it should be. But anyway, we're going to take the key and set it aside. But one of the first things that I do is to get this piece out. And if you work it just a little bit, you can pop this out. And I usually slide it up here to get it out of the way. So then after that, if you pop this forward just a little bit, and these are a little bit of a pain, just like that, this will pop off. And if you look, there's these little pins that's on the back of these here, and what that does is it clips into these little hooks back here. So that's the first thing I like to do. So I'm going to bring you underneath and show you the 3 bolts that's underneath here, or the 3 screws, and then we'll get this taken out here. So I forgot to mention that you might need a screwdriver, like a plastic screwdriver or something, to get in here and pop that a little bit. And sometimes it might be easier to take this off first to get this to pop up here. That's your preference. So the 3 screws that are up underneath here, the head of them is 5.5 millimeter. So you can take these out real quick. All right, so once you get those 3 screws out, you have to peel it away from the ignition switch on this side. And then this is a little bit of a pain. I had a hard time with this before, but you have to kind of work this piece around the tilt arm there. So what you're looking at here is the ignition switch that needs to be replaced. And here's the one that I got. Here's the part number if you need it, and here's what it looks like. You know, it's not traditional ignition switches, we used to have to change the whole cylinder and everything, but this is the new style. I did go ahead and put dielectric grease into these areas here to help with corrosion, but other than that, it's rather simple. So this is where I recommend either a small screwdriver or a whatever to get in here. There's your tab, and you can slide it back. You have to get these wires out of the way. This stuff is all extremely tight in here. And there's that. All right, so one of the things I'm going to verify, yeah, and it looks like it's the right plug, just to make sure before we go too much farther here. And then on the top and bottom here are clips. There's one here, and then there's one up on top here. You just push them, and you just pull the whole thing right out. So you know, it's hard to tell if there's anything really bad with it, because you know, you really can't tell. But then after that, you make sure your pins are the same angle, which are pretty close. Looks like this one needs to be turned just a nudge. And after that, it is basically, you push the new one in, just like that, and then hook up your wire. And there you have it. So put the ignition switch back in, and now with the key in, it is have the alarm because the door's open now, like it didn't do before. So it definitely is a difference there. So all we're going to do is go ahead and put everything back together. But that's pretty much it, everybody. You know, and this is all relatively simple to put back together. Probably one of the easiest ignition switches I have ever changed, to be honest. And that's pretty much it. So then putting this back in, remember how I said about these clips back here, you want to line those pins up both sides, and the easiest way is kind of you lay it on here and then roll it back. Just going to make sure that this side's in just the same. Then after that, you kind of just flip it down and squeeze it together, and there it is. And then put your shifter boot back on, just like that, and there it is. So now I doubt it cleared the code that fast, but we're gonna check. All right, so we got everything back together, and this might be a little hard to see, but we're going to do a body control module system test. So we're going to go ahead and run this test. So it's running now, and see if we get that ignition switch short. So what it's doing now is it's running the test on all the sensors and stuff in the cab, or the switches. Like there, you hear the horn going. Okay, and there you go. It says system pass. So apparently that fixed the ignition switch. So hopefully that may have been the problem with the battery going dead. I'm not sure. Well guys, you just seen me run the system test on the body control module, and it did get rid of the error code that we was having. So I'm hoping that it did get rid of the battery going dead problem. I don't know if they were related. They may have not be related at all. I don't know, but I am happy to get that code cleared there. And here's the old ignition switch here. Like I said, it was relatively easy to change. So if you guys are having a similar problem or whatever, you can see this was not a very hard thing to change. I would just get in there and change it and get the code cleared. So I'm hoping this fixed everything. I wanted to show you real quick again. There's the part that I bought and put in here. Like I said, this was a relatively cheap part. I think it was 20 some dollars or something like that. So I thank you for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, take care.